It's kind of crazy to think that we're almost at the end of the 2024 MLB season. The World Series is upon us, which means once that's over, free agency is ready to roll. So I thought it'd be a good idea to go over the best free agents at all the positions in Major League Baseball this offseason, give you a little bit of a refresher before the offseason starts and before the World Series officially starts. Because of course we know Juan Soto is going to be a free agent, we know about Corbin Burns, but what about the rest of the players? Who are some sneaky guys maybe that your team could be going after? Starting it off with the catcher position, it's incredibly weak this year. There are not a lot of great options. Right now, Travis d'Arnaud is kind of the best option, but he's on an $8 million club option with the Braves. They might pick that up. I don't necessarily see him becoming a free agent guaranteed. Besides that, it's Danny Jansen and James McCann. Yikes. Danny Jansen has good pop, but I don't think you want him being your everyday catcher. And James McCann, you sure as hell don't want being your everyday catcher. The catcher market is incredibly weak in free agency this year. I really have no idea what to expect. If you need a catcher, you're going to need to go to the trade market. First base, weirdly, one of the more stacked positions in this offseason. Of course, you have to start it with Big Meat Pete Alonso. Just came off of an amazing postseason run with the New York Mets. While Mets fans were upset he wasn't clutch during the regular season, boy did he prove them wrong in the postseason with big hit after big hit, including the series-winning home run against the Milwaukee Brewers in the wild card. Pete's a fantastic player. You're looking at a guy who can give you 35 to 40 home runs every single season, 100-plus RBIs, and OPS around 800. Is he a little rough at first base? There's no doubt. He is incredible at scoops, though, so if you want someone who can field some bad throws, Pete Alonso's your guy. Pete Alonso's offseason really depends on what him and Scott Boras want to do. I would love the Mets to bring him back, but if Pete Alonso wants to be the highest paid first baseman of all time, I don't think the New York Mets are going to be the team to do it. I don't know who necessarily is going to be the team to do that. Pete Alonso is a very good first baseman. I don't think he should get paid like the highest paid first baseman. It will be interesting to see what his market looks like, especially because there's a lot of other first basemen available that are also good. Paul Goldschmidt's a weird one. I don't know what to think about him. He looked horrible this year. He looked horrible to end the previous year in 2023. Goldie might just be old. So that's going to be a one-year deal kind of thing for a team that's just kind of looking for a flash in the pan maybe at the end of his career. Anthony Rizzo's got a $17 million club option. I can't imagine the Yankees are picking that up, but also, what does Rizzo really have left? He's had a lot of injuries recently, not his fault, but he's not as sharp. Some of the better value options, Josh Bell, who we've seen at times can be a difference maker in your lineup, is going to be a free agent. And Christian Walker, that's the big one. That's going to be the guy who people have to decide whether or not they want to go after Pete Alonso or Christian Walker, because Walker will be a shorter-term deal for a lot less money, but he is older. Christian Walker, though, is defensively amazing. At the plate, he's a fantastic hitter. There's not really anything wrong with Christian Walker's game, besides the fact that he played in Arizona, he's a little underrated, and he's a little bit older. He is also a South Carolina Gamecock alum just like me. Go Cox. And then if you're really looking on the bargain side, you have Carlos Santana, who is always a great first base option on base king. And Ryan O'Hearn's an interesting player, a club option at $7.5 million this offseason for the Orioles. I don't know if they'll pick that up or not, but he's going to find his way onto a competitive team. He's just too good of a power hitter not to. Moving on over to second base, I think second base is clearly headlined by Gleyber Torres. Gleyber did not have the best regular season, and we've seen some big up and downs in his career, but really at the end of the day, Gleyber's a second baseman who could give you 20 homers, 80 RBIs, and OPS hovering around that 750, 800 range when he's at his best. Defensively, a little bit shaky here and there, but you've seen him really step up in the postseason. He's become a much better player when the Yankees needed it most. Maybe this is his way of trying to get back to the Yankees and have them give him a contract. You also have the Mets second baseman, Jose Iglesias, who had a phenomenal season. I can't even believe I'm saying this, but the guy hit over 300, played phenomenal defense, and was a huge reason why the Mets were able to go on a postseason run. I love the Mets to bring him back. It doesn't really feel like there's a lot of room with the young players that are coming up, but I expect a competitive team who needs a veteran presence on the bench to go after a guy like Candelita. And then there are two players with club options. Jorge Polanco has a club option for $12 million. I'm not sure if the Mariners are going to pick that up. He's looked terrible, but also the second base market's really weak. And then Brandon Lau is for sure going to get his picked up at $10.5 million unless the Rays really decide to be cheap. Chances are they're going to pick up his option, trade him in the offseason. He's a really good second baseman, someone that I think a lot of competitive teams are going to be going after. It's just an injury thing with him. At third base, you have one of the bigger names of the free agent class offensively with Alex Bregman, formerly of the Houston Astros. It's going to be weird if Alex Bregman is playing for a team outside of Houston. He feels perfect for that stadium, perfect for that team. He feels like a franchise player. And while Bregman is a very good player, there's no doubt. I mean, he's like a 4 to 5 win player every single year, good at the plate, good fielding, just solid third baseman. I'd be interested to see what his market is going to look like for him because the Astros kind of have a little bit of leverage. If you look at Alex Bregman's numbers, he needs to play in Houston. The Crawford boxes are a huge benefit to Alex Bregman's game. You take Alex Bregman, put him in a different ballpark, ballpark, those power numbers are not going to look the same. But he still gets on base, still hits the ball decently hard consistently, and doesn't really ever strike out. He is a good ball player. He is going to be the by far best third baseman on the market. You then have Eugenio Suarez, who has a $15 million club option with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I think there's a weird chance they might pick that up because he was so good the second half of the season, and they're still kind of in between who should be playing third base for them right now in their future. One more year of Eugenio wouldn't be the worst. And then the White Sox have a $25 million club option on Yoan Moncada, which we know is not getting picked up. Moncada's going to have a really interesting market because I think competitive teams are going to want him if he's cheap enough, and I think bad teams are going to want him because there is a good player somewhere inside of Yoan Moncada. We just haven't seen it. It's, again, the White Sox issue, the injuries issue, the even odd year number issue with Yoan Moncada. It's bizarre, but I think he's a really interesting free agent to watch out for this offseason. For the last position in the infield, we have shortstop, and Willy Adames is going to be the number one guy there. Adames had a great bounce-back season, 30 homers, 20 stolen bases, and OPS 800. The fielding went back to being Gold Glove caliber for Willy Adames. 100-plus RBIs. He showed that he can be a middle-of-the-order guy like he did for the Brewers this year, which is really big for him when he hits the free agent market, especially because the other shortstop options are not great. Paul DeJong and Ha-Sung Kim are the other choices. Ha-Sung Kim has an option. I don't think the Padres are going to let him go. And Paul DeJong, like, you're just way better, Willy Adames. This one feels like he's going to be a Brave or a Dodger. I'm just saying it right now. I don't know which team, but I think one of those will sign Willy Adames. They need help at that position for teams that are competing right now, and he's very good. Okay, let's move on over to the outfield. Start off with left field. Teoscar Hernandez is going to be a free agent. I think he's going to get a big contract from somebody. The year he put up with the Dodgers was fantastic. I don't think he wants to sign another one-year deal. He shouldn't be signing another one-year deal. The numbers were great in LA this season. While he's awful defensively, 33 homers, 99 RBIs, and an 840 OPS plus at 137. Don't really care what he feels like. And then you have some sneaky, fun left fielders as well. Michael Conforto, low-key, showed some really good stuff this year. Keep an eye out for him. He was walking more, hitting the ball hard towards the end of the season. In San Francisco, not a good place for a lefty, so I would expect his offensive numbers to jump next year wherever he goes. Tyler O'Neill's a free agent. He just put up an amazing year with the Boston Red Sox, 30 homers in like 110 games. Tyler O'Neill's someone to keep a sneaky eye out for, as well as Jurickson Profar. People forget he signed a dirt cheap deal with the Padres right before spring training and was one of their best players this year. Maybe the Padres signed him to a multi-year deal. Maybe they don't let him get to the offseason. They give him an extension. But both of those guys were under the radar going into last offseason and could be one of the better outfielders available right now, not named Juan Soto. And then also shout out my boy Jesse Winker. Love him. Hope he comes back with the Mets. You saw that his back was fixed after a couple bad seasons, and he's got some real pop in that bat. Great plate discipline. A good player to have on your team. More so as a DH, but he could play left field if you need him to. Center field's bad. We're just going to name them really quickly. It's Harrison Bader and Kevin Pillar. Both are going to be fourth outfielders at best. Harrison Bader, the bat was really bad this year. He's phenomenal defensively. So awesome to watch out there, but he can't really hit. And Kevin Pillar, while I know he had good offensive numbers this year, we're not buying that. They're fourth, fifth outfield guys. And then we've got right field. Juan Soto, the number one free agent, possibly going to break record after record this offseason. Expect him to get a 15-year deal worth $100,000 million. Just give him $1 billion. Why not? Juan Soto's so good. He's 26 years old, coming off the best season of his career. 41 homers, 109 RBIs, 288 average, 419 on base, 569 slugging, 989 OPS for an OPS plus at 178. I don't know how many teams can afford him outside of the Mets, Dodgers, Yankees, and maybe Red Sox or Giants / Cubs. Feels like it's going to be Mets or Yankees. I'm really hoping it's the Mets. I don't think it will be. And then you also have Anthony Santander, who was a great option on a budget for a team. I don't think he's going to cost too much. I know he had a great season, 44 home runs, 814 OPS, and I'm sure he's going to want a lot of money, but for a guy who's not that great in the outfield and got to do that in Camden Yards, which is pretty advantageous to left-handed hitters, I don't think he's going to be as expensive. The only thing that's going to push his price up is I think a lot of teams are going to want him. And then Max Kepler. Max Kepler a little bit slept on. I know this year was not great for Max Kepler, but if you look at 2023, he finished with an OPS plus at 120. We've seen him be a good power hitter before, 36 home runs back in 2019. I think there's still good players somewhere inside of Max Kepler. Expect a team to give him a shot. He's quite talented. And then at DH, let's run through these real quickly. Marcelo Ozuna has a club option for $16 million. I fully expect the Braves to pick that up. Rhys Hoskins has an $18 million opt-out. I don't think he's going to opt out, but also might be mutual, so he might not have a choice. 18 mil, he's taking that money. He's not getting any more than that. Jock Peterson has a mutual $14 million opt-out. I think the Arizona Diamondbacks might pick that up. He was great for them this year. If not, that's a great left-handed bat for a team to grab. JD Martinez seems like he might retire. Doesn't really have much left in the tank right now. Andrew McCutcheon's a guy that's always available, always productive. We'll see how long he continues to go, but another solid year. And then you have Eloy Jimenez, who has a club option for $16.5 million. Obviously, that's not getting picked up. He was terrible, has been terrible. But again, Eloy, you've seen the talent with him before. Are we ready to fully give up on him? Someone's going to give him a shot. He's got too much pop in that bat to be as awful as he's been. Before we get going to the starting pitchers, let me just run through some relievers that are big names or guys that I think are particularly interesting. Kenley Jansen's available, Hall of Fame closer. Aroldis Chapman's available, Hall of Fame closer. Devin Williams has a $10.5 million club option. The Brewers will pick that up, but don't be surprised if they trade him this offseason, so keep an eye out for him. Carlos Estevez is available, was really good for the Angels and Phillies this season, a guy who is a legit closer in Major League Baseball now. AJ Minter coming off a major injury. I don't think he's going to leave the Braves. I think they'll just kind of sign him back and let him rehab with them. Clay Holmes is a free agent. I know he's ended the year really weird for the Yankees, but there's a team out there that could use Clay Holmes. When he's on, he's kind of unhittable. You can't really do much against him. Tanner Scott of the Padres is available, one of the best left-handed relievers in baseball. He's going to be the best left-handed reliever available on the market. You can't pass up on a guy who throws 100 with a wicked slider. And then Jeff Hoffman of the Phillies, probably going to get paid. I don't know if it's going to be by the Phillies. I don't know who it's going to be by, but he was one of the best relievers in baseball this year. The dude is due for some money. Now, as for the starting pitching, this is one of the more interesting starting pitching free agent classes that we've seen in a while. A lot of talent all over the place. Corbin Burns leads the pack, one of the best pitchers in baseball, Cy Young Award winner. Out in Baltimore, he was fantastic. He is the guy that everybody's going to want, and he truly feels like he's in his own tier of pitchers on this free agent market. He's going to be 30 years old when he hits it, just under 1,000 innings under his arm, and he gave you 190 again for the third straight season. Corbin Burns is exactly what you think of when you need an ace, and there are a lot of teams that could use one. Corbin Burns is going to get paid. I think under the Corbin Burns tier, then you have Max Fried, Jack Flaherty. I think you got to throw Sean Manaea in that conversation too with the season he just had. I think Max Fried is the top of those three guys I just named in the next tier. While I think Fried sometimes can be overrated by the media and fans, he still is a very good frontline pitcher. Really good number 2. I don't think he's a number 1. He's going to give you 170 to 180 innings every year. Low ERA, strikes out a bunch of batters. And I got to say, Max Fried is a dog. He steps up in big games and pitches lights out for the Braves. I don't think he's going to stay in Atlanta, though. Seems like he's going to go get paid, go get his money. Jack Flaherty, on the other hand, is another guy who I think is going to get paid, but maybe not as much. The velo was major down in the postseason. I don't expect a mega contract. I expect something similar to what Sean Manaea could get, which could be in the range of $100 million over 4 to 5 seasons. Because both those guys had really good years after some disappointing seasons with other teams. Flaherty with the Dodgers and Tigers was great, and Sean Manaea with the Mets was fantastic. Those are guys who are frontline starters. Again, you want them as more 2 or 3s, but they both have shown they're very capable to be there. Shane Bieber's also available, coming off of Tommy John. Gonna be weird. I don't know what his market's gonna be. It's probably gonna be a 1-year deal. Luis Severino's also available, just had a really nice season coming back with the New York Mets. I'm not sure if he gets a multi-year deal. I don't know what his market's gonna look like, but he has value. Teams are gonna want him. I just don't know what the length is gonna look like for either of those pitchers. Yusei Kikuchi was sneaky nasty with the Astros. In 10 starts, had a 2.7 ERA, a whip under 1. He could be one of the better pickups of this offseason. I wonder if the rest of the league is hip to how good he's been. And then some random guys that I think could be kind of Sean Manaea, Luis Severino-ish this offseason. 1-year deals that could have an impact. Walker Buehler, who looked really good in the postseason for the Dodgers, didn't look great in the regular season, but starting to get some life back. I think he signs a 1-year deal as a prove it, and then he gets paid. Along with Max Scherzer and Justin Verlander, like, do we really care anymore? It feels weird. I don't particularly care. I don't think they have any value anymore. And then Nick Pivetta of the Boston Red Sox. Pivetta had a 4 ERA, a whip at 1.12. He has really good strikeout stuff. I feel like there's just something missing. One tweak here or there, and Nick Pivetta, I think, could be a very good starter in a competitive team rotation and give you some solid innings. And then last but certainly not least, we have to mention Clayton Kershaw. We know he's going back to the Dodgers. He has a $5 million player option. I don't know if he's going to take that or not, but he'll be a Los Angeles Dodger again, so I didn't really even want to talk about him too much. You also have Michael Wacha, who's got a $16 million player option. There's a chance he takes that. He had a really good season with the Royals, helped push them to the postseason. I think the only way he doesn't is if he thinks he gets multi-years, which is super possible. I mean, he had a great season, could be in that $18 to $20 million range. Frankie Montas has a $20 million mutual option. I don't see that one getting picked up. Another guy who I think a lot of teams would be interested in giving another shot to. So those are the best free agents of the 2025 MLB free agent class. I'd love to know some of your guys' predictions as to where they sign down in the comment section below. Is there someone I missed that you think could be under the radar as well? Don't forget to drop a like on the video if you enjoyed it, as well as subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the content. Follow me on all my social media, GiraffeNeckMarc. Links are in the description. And that's where I'll wrap it up, guys. You know the drill from here on out. YouTube recommends you watch this video. This is my most recent upload, so click through those if you have not yet seen them. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next video. Bye.